Hello and welcome all. So in this discussion, we are going to discuss about the NCERTs. So anybody who is thinking of preparing UPSC or those who have done a little bit about the UPSC preparation, one of the very important and pertinent question in each and every aspirant mind is that how to go about the NCERTs, whether or not to study NCERT, or if I am going to study NCERT, which NCERT should I study? So we'll try to understand all those questions in this discussion video. All right, and also I will talk about one of the programs which we have launched or which is going to be launched, and all the details will be there in the description. All right, so let us talk about the NCERTs. All right, so anybody who has thought of preparing the UPSCs or who has prepared the UPSC or who has seen some toppers video must have come across that that one golden line, that NCERT is essential for UPSC. All right, so that is a one very true fact also, that NCERT definitely helps you in understanding and covering the basics which is usually asked in the examination, and also it helps you in understanding the themes and the topics in a very lucid manner, which we'll see in this video also. So the most important thing is that why you should study NCERT and what NCERT you should study, and we'll see especially from the point of economics NCERTs. And then the very relevant and pertinent question is how to study the NCERTs. So in this discussion videos, I am going to decipher all the queries, all the questions which an aspirant has with regard to NCERTs. All right, so let us move ahead. All right, so all right, so the basic theme is that why one should need to study the NCERTs, why there is so much you can say that issues. Somebody will say that you need to study NCERTs. Some people might think also that NCERT is not very much required. But one thing which I would like to clear very much in the beginning is that NCERTs are very, very much essentials for the preparation of UPSC examinations. All right. So it will help you in preparing prelims also, and it will help you in preparing the mains examination also. All right. So if you ask that why one should go for reading NCERTs or studying NCERTs, the first point which we can offer is building strong basics. All right. So basics can be very well understood in the NCERTs. Any theme which you take, all right, any theme which is mentioned in the NCERTs are very lucidly explained. They are explained with the examples sometimes. So it helps in covering our basics. It helps in building a very strong foundation. All right. So as you know that if we, there is a strong building. All right. So if this has to survive over a period of time, it must have very strong foundations. All right. So that is why if somebody is aiming for a very good rank in the UPSC examination, building a very strong foundations and having a very good grasp on the basics is very much required, and that is what NCERT enables you. All right, that is what NCERT enables you. So let us take the examples of economy NCERTs. So once you read the economy NCERTs, because economy is a subject which usually almost 70 to 80% students are not very much comfortable with. All right, so NCERT provides you a basic building block, you can say that, and also it will develop some interest in the subject. Why? Because they are written in such a manner that you will try to read it more and more. All right, so because you are able to understand things in a better manner, in a more grasping manner, so they help you in understanding the basics of the thing. All right. Second, as we have talked about, is that sometimes the concepts and the themes which are there, they are very lucid and very beautifully explained in the NCERT, that too in a sentences which are very easy to grasp. All right, simple sentences they have used to understand or to express a topic, which helps a student who is from diverse background. Let us say one person is not very comfortable in economics, they may also get very important and relevant information and a clear cut understanding on the topics which they are reading in the NCERTs. All right, so building the foundations and explaining the topics in a very, very lucid manner. All right, so that is NCERT for you. And the third and very, very important and very significant aspect of reading NCERT is that you get direct questions from them. All right, direct and indirect questions both you get from the NCERTs, be it economics, be it, you can say that history, be it art and culture, be it geography. You get questions directly or indirectly from the NCERT. So that is also one of the very important thing, that if you have read those NCERTs, if you have understood them, if you have practiced the MCQs on those themes, you will definitely be able to clear the prelims as well as mains. All right, so because of, I would say that, three very strong reasons. All right, so reading NCERTs for UPSC preparation is very much required. They help you in building a better foundations, making your basics very, very strong, so that you are able to connect it with the current happenings. All right, so that is one point. Second point is, whatever themes, whatever topics are there, they are very lucidly explained. They can be, one person who is not with any economics background, they can also understand the thing. And the next point and very significant is that they help us, or UPSC has a knack of asking questions from the NCERT. So directly or indirectly in prelims as well in mains, questions are being asked. All right, so that is why reading NCERTs is very, very significant portion or significant part of preparing the UPSC examination. All right, so now the next question is, especially if we talk about the economics perspective, which NCERTs or I am going to read. All right, so there might be several NCERTs. What is the relevant NCERTs for me? And that too, we are going to talk about, especially in terms of economy. All right, so the pertinent question is, in economic section or in economic subject, which is the significant NCERTs that I should read while doing UPSC preparation. All right, so the first NCERT which I would recommend and is Indian Economic Development. It is NCERT for class 11th. All right, so Indian Economic Development. And second is Introductory Macroeconomics, which is a part of class 12th NCERT. So remember that class 12th NCERT, there are two NCERTs for class 12th. If you're talking about class 12th, so there are two NCERTs. First is microeconomics, all right, microeconomics, and another is macroeconomics. So what I mentioned here is this macroeconomics, all right. So if you see the syllabus of UPSC, especially the general studies perspective, be it prelims or be it mains, the syllabus is related with the portion of macroeconomics, all right. So I would suggest that try to avoid reading microeconomics books. This is not very much required, all right. So the two very significant book which is required for the economy preparation would be Indian Economic Development, that is class 11th NCERTs, and Introductory Macroeconomics, class 12th NCERTs, all right. So these two are very important for your economy preparation, especially from the perspective of understanding basics of economy, all right, understanding basics of economy. So Indian economy development, if you talk about class 11th NCERTs, so it tries to explain the Indian economy since independence till, you can say that, to 2000 or 2000 beyond, all right. So it tried to explain the economy development since independence. So it tried to explain the march of Indian economy since independence, all right. And it has been written in a very simple and lucid manner, all right. It will enable your interest in the subject. Once you read it, you will be very able to connect with the subject, all right. And the relevant chapters which are there in this book are very much there in the syllabus of the UPSC, especially the GS economic portion, all right. For example, you can talk about important chapters are, let us say, poverty, which is very significant for the UPSC, be it prelims or mains. Then unemployment, all right. Then it also talks about human development, all right, human development. It also talks about the economic reforms of 1991, all right, economic reforms of 1991, what we call as liberalization, privatization and globalization, all right. So each and every chapter is very significant from the perspective of UPSC, and one of the very important aspect of this book, or very significant feature of this book, would be that it has explained the economy from independence till, you can say that, 2000 or 2000 beyond, in a very clear and lucid manner, all right. You will enjoy reading this book, all right. So this is one of the very important book pertaining to having a initial starting point, you can say that initial starting point. If somebody is searching that what to read in Indian economy, if I have to prepare for the UPSC, I would say that start with Indian economy development. It provides a very stupendous starting point, or you can say that beginning to study of Indian economy, all right. So Indian economic development, class 11th NCERTs. Next would be the introductory macroeconomics, which we talked about. The introductory macroeconomics. Here basically all the relevant macroeconomics topics are there in the NCERTs, and they have been explained in a simple and lucid manner. For example, you can talk about the chapter on national income accounting. All right, national income accounting, for example, GDP, GNP, etc. So every year you will see the questions in prelims as well as in mains also, the questions related with national income accounting. So this provides a very good building block for, or I can say that a starting point for understanding the national income accounting. All right. Another relevant chapter, you can say that money and banking. All right, money and banking. So this is also one of the very significant chapter with regard to UPSC. What are the different types of money, functions of money, how the creation of money takes place, all those things, money multiplier. So those things are mentioned in the chapter. All right. Another very significant chapter you can talk about is government fiscal policy. In this we can also talk about budget. What are the different types of budget? And then here also we can talk about the public debt. All right, or how the public debt is managed by the government as well as the RBI. All right, so these are the very important things which you can get from this book. Another significant feature or another significant chapter which you can talk about is a external sector. All right, India being an open economy, it interacts with the rest of the world. So external sector, that is also very important. All right, so balance of payment, the concept of balance of payment, and forex reserve. So all those things you get information and these are explained in a very simple manner. So one thing which you should very clearly understand while preparing for the UPSC is that you need to have a good grasp on the key concepts. For example, I will give you one example. For example, in the recent times, you might have seen that there has been the news of depletion of forex reserves of India. All right, depletion of forex reserve of India. So now sometimes the question arises, what is forex reserves? Why a country keeps forex reserve? And then we can proceed towards the very recent question of why the forex reserves of India has declined in the recent time. All right, so if you have good grasp on the or solid foundation, if I say that if you have good understanding of the concepts, you can very well correlate with the current happening which are being there. All right, so you should be able to understand that why a country goes for keeping of forex reserves. Or sometimes if you see the if you're reading newspapers, you might have seen the balance of payment crisis in Sri Lanka. All right, so sometimes as a very natural question you may ask that, okay, what is balance of payment? So all those things are very well explained in the NCERTs. That is why I would say that reading NCERTs is very, very important for your UPSC journey. All right. So next would be, so we have said that no, why NCERTs, why we are going for the NCERTs, and then we have seen that especially from the NCERT's perspective, which NCERT we should go about. All right, so class 11th NCERT as well as in class 12th NCERTs, basically the macroeconomic NCERT which you need to go about it. Then the next question is how to study about the NCERTs, how to go ahead with the NCERTs. All right. So for this, to help the student in effectively understanding the NCERTs, reading the NCERTs in a better manner, we have come out with a new course, that is UPSC Essentials. All right. So basically it's a NCERT based course. UPSC Essentials is a NCERT based course that tries to build a very big, strong foundation of the student, and this is basically you will be having a good grasp on the NCERTs as well as beyond. All right, as well as beyond. So what you have to understand is that NCERTs are building blocks for the UPSC preparation. What is the meaning of it? You can say that NCERTs are very good to begin with. If you want to understand any subject in a better manner, NCERT provides a very good reference point, or you can say that very good starting point. However, you need to build upon it, because in UPSCs questions are sometimes very standard level, which may get solved through NCERTs and which requires more knowledge, extra knowledge of beyond NCERT. So that is why this course of UPSC Essentials, which will basically cover NCERTs for 4 subjects as well as beyond. All right, as well as beyond. So the essential feature of this course, if you can talk about, is all right. So essential feature, if you talk about, first of all, what are the subjects which will be covering? What are the subjects which will be covering? So there will be a total of 4 subjects which we are going to cover in this program. That is Indian polity, all right. So Indian polity, we will be covering the NCERTs of Indian polity. Second is history, another very important chapter for the UPSC, or very important subject for the UPSC. Next would be geography, which is also a very important subject. And next, fourth would be economics. So this course covers 4 very, very essential subjects which is required for the UPSC. First is Indian polity, second is history, third is geography, and fourth is Indian economics. All right. So if you see the weightage of these 4 subjects in prelims also, let's say if you are trying to ask that how many questions are asked in the prelims, so somewhere around, let us say, Indian polity 15 to 20, you can say. Same is the case with economics, 15 to 20. In geography, if you try to see, even though the weightage has reduced a little, but still 7 to 10 questions you might get in geography on an average. And history, if you're talking about including the ancient Indian, ancient, medieval and modern, as well as if you include art and culture, somewhere around 18 to 20 questions are asked. All right. So just giving you a simple data so as to gauge the significance of these 4 subjects in the UPSC prelims also. All right. So this would be covering the 4 essential subjects: Indian polity, history, geography and economics. All the relevant NCERTs will be covered in this, and the person enrolling will get a recorded lectures for these 4 subjects, and those lecture would be 200 plus hours. Alright, so 200 plus hours of lectures on these 4 subjects: Indian polity, history, geography and economics, which will provide you a very solid foundations. You will be able to understand the concepts given in the NCERTs, and also moving a little bit beyond. That is also will be provided in these classes. Again, you will be provided workbook also, which will entail summary of important points of the NCERTs. So 2 workbook for each subject. Alright, 2 workbook for each subject: 2 workbook on Indian polity, 2 workbook on history, 2 workbook on geography and 2 workbook of Indian economy. So these workbooks mainly contain the very significant theme of the NCERTs, which are very important, as well as extra informations are also being provided. Alright, and every chapter in the workbook is preceded by different, you can say that questions of means nature. Alright, once you have covered one chapter, there will be 3 or 5 to 6 means related questions after that chapter. Alright, so that you can understand that how much you have grasped from these chapter. Alright, so very important part of this program is that workbook, which a student will get 2 workbook for each subject. Alright, another would be, so your preparation is inadequate. Alright, you will not be able to grasp whether you have understood any concept in a better manner or not until and unless you are solving the questions. So this program also provides for regular test for your assessment, whether you are on the right track, whether what you are reading you are able to understand all those things or not. So MCQs would be there, relevant MCQs are there, and then also subjective tests are also going to happen on a regular basis. Alright, so you will be getting feel of prelims also, you will be also getting a feel of mains also through these regular tests of on the topics which you have read. So MCQs would be there, mains related questions would be there, so that you are able to understand whether you are able to apply the knowledge which you are getting. Alright, which is very significant theme for this examination, that whatever you read, n number of books you read, if you are not able to reproduce those things in the exam, then you are not going to clear the examination. So that is why a regular test for personal assessment, this is a very significant thing. Then mentorship support. One thing which I would like to add here is that your copies will be checked for this subjective test, evaluated, and a detailed feedback will be provided. Alright, so detailed feedback will be provided, your copies will be checked and detailed feedback will be provided, so that you are able to understand what mistakes you are doing and you can rectify it in next test. Alright, so very significant part that you give the test, you understand where you have committed the mistakes, rectify it, so that you are not doing it on the next test or in the future. That is what you can say, that what we call is incremental changes. Alright, this is what will help you in this examination. Alright, so Regular test will be there, your subjective test will be checked, and detailed feedback will be provided to you. Significant thing is, mentorship support to help you in a best possible manner. Sometimes when you study things you are not able to understand, you can ask your mentor. Sometimes you are not able to strategize your preparation, what to read, what not to read, how to go about it, all those things. So for that we have kept the mentorship support. So one-on-one mentorship support plus group mentorship support, all things are possible here. So a very significant aspects of this program. Another is we'll have regular sessions on answer writing. So to clear UPSC with good ranks, you need to have very good marks in the mains examination, and that requires a very good grasp on the answer writing approach. All right, so if you're not getting good marks in the mains examination, definitely either you may not be able to clear this exam, or you may not be able to clear exam, or even if you clear the exam, you may not get very good rank. All right, so answer writing is very significant in a manner that it can decide whether you are getting the top ranks or whether you are getting in the list itself. All right, so we'll have regular sessions on answer writing where UPSC toppers, previous year toppers, or our esteemed faculty will decipher out what are the very significant aspects of answer writing which you need to have. All right. So this is all about the UPSC Essentials program. All right. So all the details related to the program will be there in the description box. All right. So those who are interested, they can click on those links. But one thing which you can very well understand in this discussion would be that focus on NCERTs, so that you have a very good starting point. You are understanding the concepts, you are having your basics strong, and then try to solve the questions. All right, try to solve the questions, try to get the feedbacks, and all those things are very much needed for this examination. All right, so I hope that you have understood the significance of the reading NCERTs, and those of you who are interested in taking this program or enrolling in this program can find the relevant information in the description box. All right, thank you.